If you shower or brush your teeth or try to make your hair look presentable, here's some good news. Dollar Shave Club has a lot of stuff to help you out. Dollar Shave Club delivers everything you need to look, feel, and smell your best. Shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, hair gel, even a wipe that leaves your tush feeling tingly clean. All of Dollar Shave Club's products are made with top-shelf ingredients that won't break your budget. You'll feel the difference. Plus, shipping is free with your membership. And here's a great way to try a bunch of Dollar Shave Club's products for just $5. You can get their Daily Essential Starter Set. It comes with Body Cleanser, One Wipe Charlie's, their amazing butt wipes, and their world-famous shave butter. And their best razor, the 6-Blade Executive. Keep the blades coming for a few more bucks a month and add in a shampoo, toothpaste, or anything else you need. Check it all out at dollarshaveclub.com/Chad. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Chad.
Independent in thought and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
President Trump on Twitter calls on Attorney General Jeff Sessions to shut down the special counsel's Russia investigation. The president writes, quote, "This is a terrible situation, and Attorney General Jeff Sessions should stop this rigged witch hunt right now." Sessions recused himself from the Russia probe last year after facing scrutiny for his own contacts with Russian officials. The president's been very critical of Sessions, even saying he would have picked someone else to be Attorney General if he had known Sessions would do that.
So, look, Sarah Huckabee Sanders came out and she's talking about, this entire, thing and what he tweeted, and she's got to defend this, that, and the other, and it's based on the dossier and all of this kind of stuff. And look, the president, I get his frustration. I do. I'm not going to pretend that if any one of us as human beings were in the situation that the president is in, right or left, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, and for whatever reason, you were linked with something that was hanging over your presidency, you would feel the same way he does. Now, you may not vocalize it, right? But you would feel the same way he does. Even seasoned people, Hillary Clinton's a perfect example. Even seasoned politicians, when it came to Benghazi and all of that stuff, the frustration was there. You could see it. Now, some people vocalize things in a different way, right? And he does. He says witch hunt. It's an absolute witch hunt. The only reason that they're looking into this thing is this Steele dossier and all of this kind of, that may be true. The fact is, I hope that's true if I'm the president. Right? Somebody's got to get a hold of him and say, dude, it's great. Call him dude, too. He'll probably love that. Dude, broham, chill. Mr. President, listen, let that be it. If that's the thing that they're hanging all of this on to start this whole witch hunt, as you call it, let it be. Even the FBI, even his own handlers, if you will, have discredited this guy on numerous occasions. They've gone out and said, hey, should we look into this thing? And you're like, I wouldn't trust this guy. I mean, we can shoot so many holes. It's coming to us as Swiss cheese. We can shoot even more holes through it. It'll never hold this. It won't even get past the sniff test. It won't hold water. We're good. But the more that you come out and address stuff like this, the more that people think it's getting under your nerves. And it is. It's getting under your skin, right? That's it. Let it go. Let it go. When you were a kid, and you knew you could mess with your baby sister or brother, or your older brother and sister, whoever it was, and you knew what their go-to was, and then eventually you'd get under their skin and they would react because that's what you wanted, you were going to continue to do it. If you did it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and they didn't react, you'd eventually do what? You'd get bored and you'd go do something else. I'm not saying that they're not going to go anywhere, but I'm saying that the more that you push back on this, the more that you come out and you tell Jeff Sessions in a tweet, stop this witch hunt, stop this probe, the more that you do that, the more that people out there push them to do stuff like that. The more that people out there, especially in the media, continue to try to get under your skin. So what you do is you just go out there, and I've said from day one, win, 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 win. The more you win, the less that you can hear that noise. All right? The more that you can win, the less that these things become an issue, especially with the American people. And that is what you're going for. The Mueller investigation is going to continue to go on, and I think it should come to its conclusion, its natural conclusion, whatever and whenever that may be. Do I think it's going to go on through its entire presidency, whether that's another 2 years or another, 6 combined? I do not think so. Do I think we may get through the first of the year while this thing is still going on? There is a possibility of that. Remember, the Watergate investigation wasn't 3 months, 6. At the same time, yes, at some point in time, it's put up or shut up. And I think even the Democrats are starting to say, well, what do you have? Right? Ancillary characters aside, what do you have? And some Democrats are starting to echo that. But in the end, winning cures all ills, right? Watch sports. Fractured locker rooms, teams losing, that fracture in the locker room becomes massive. Problems are huge. Infighting, guys, quibbing, I need the ball more, I need this, that, and the other. But winning, those things are quiet. They're just a side note. They're not the headline, front page story making thing. But when things struggle, when you're not winning, that noise grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. Right now, as you've said, you're winning.
And I didn't know anybody in Washington, but now I know everybody in Washington. I know the good ones, I know the bad ones. I know the wonderful people, and I know the scum. And America now is winning again, like they haven't won before.
And if you keep winning, that's fine. That noise will remain more of a whisper than a roar. But when you start to lose and the frustration starts to grow and the fracture becomes a small crack, becomes a Grand Canyon, if you will, all of a sudden that whisper becomes a roar, things change. So keep winning. And I've said that from day one. Trump's best bet is to keep winning. Keep the economy strong. Keep people feeling like they're moving forward in their life and not going backwards. Keep people smiling because they've got peace of mind, and let the drama play itself out the way it will. Do I think at some point in time both sides are going to get fed up with the probe, especially if it's not producing no matter what side you're on, whatever it is that you're looking for? I think at some point in time it will. And I think it is. The Republicans are frustrated with it because they think it's a witch hunt. I think some Democrats are feeling like, well, we've been going on and on and on, and we may go on a little bit further, but what do you have? Yeah, you've got some people who've pled guilty on things that have absolutely nothing to do with Russia collusion, and the Manafort thing has to do with, and by the way, for those of you keeping score, I do think Manafort's probably hid some money and done some things that he probably shouldn't done in the shady world of foreign lobbying. I'm not going to be, my shock face is this, not very shocked. But did it have anything to do with Trump, Russia, collusion, any of that stuff? And if your best bet is now it's a conspiracy to commit something, or now it's, he tweeted something and maybe we can get him for, his tweets and obstruction of justice. If that's the reach you're going for, you're really reaching. Even the American public who may not be a fan of Trump are going, oh, wait a minute here. That's stupid. That's stupid. It is. The reality is, let it play out. Keep winning, keep winning, keep winning, and keep that potential roar a whisper, and you'll be fine. But the more that you allow it to bug you, the more it gets under your skin, the more that you say stuff like this, the more that people are going to want to try to get under your skin. See, he's hiding something. He's hiding something. Did you see that there, guys? He's hiding something. Right there, he's hiding something. He's got something going on over there. He's hiding something. What is it that he's hiding? He must know something. He must know. Collusion's not a crime. Look, he's hiding something, kids. He's hiding something. What is he hiding? Wonder what he's got. It's got to be something bad. But if you ignore it and you just get on and you keep winning, people will get bored and go away. But the more that you continue to do this, the more that people are going to sit around on talking head shows all day long. And they're going to talk about, well, he's terrified of something. Obviously, he's begging him to shut it down. He's literally begging him. Shut it down, Jeff. Jeff, shut it down. That's what they're hearing. You may just be like, this is frustrating. It's a gnat. Nothing here. I know I didn't do anything wrong. Just make it go away. But they're hearing, oh, please, Jeff, they're going to catch me. That's what they're hearing. But if you ignore it, and when they say, what do you think about this? You say 4.2% growth, GDP, record low in unemployment, almost full employment. Think about that. What? Yeah. An economy that is moving forward, right? The more that you hit that, show them you're winning. Because when you show this hand here, people are going to say, well, that's curious. Why would you do something like that? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Hope you're doing well on this beautiful day. It's the Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
The TSA admits it has a passenger tracking program. The program is called Quiet Skies. It reportedly tracks travelers not on any government watch lists. Small teams of federal air marshals use existing information on travelers. They then observe them for any changes in their normal travel patterns or behavior. The TSA says the program has been around since 2010 and says Congress is aware and provides, quote, robust oversight.
Sure it does. And now the TSA is getting ready to say, yeah, you know what? We're going to kind of eliminate screening at smaller airports. Some people are like, I can't believe they would eliminate screening at smaller airports. I'm like, I can't believe they have TSA. Well, what do you mean, Chad? Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, it's a placebo effect. You go to the airport. Do you really think the black-panted, blue shirt wearing, gloves, writing scribble on your ticket is stopping anything from happening? Our eyes and ears on an airplane and elsewhere are probably doing that. I've always said I'm more concerned today with what's underneath than what's sitting next to me on an airplane. To me, that's where the money would be put. Nothing like 9/11 is going to happen again because people will fight. They will fight. Underneath is a bigger worry for me. But getting on an airplane at this point in time, come on, it's a placebo effect. How many things get through? Year after year, we hear about how much stuff gets through on accident. People are like, I forgot my gun in the bag. Nobody said anything to me. Those are the things that happen. It is a placebo effect. That's it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter every single day at this time. Not only do we make you hipper and cooler, not just out there on the streets, but also in the web world. We'll talk about that right now, ladies and gentlemen, because we got your urban word of the day.
It's time for the urban word of the day, fam.
What? Right now?
Time to get a little more hip on the streets.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Urban word of the day.
This one's fun. Content creator. Right? You create content. That's what that is. It's a fancy word for YouTuber. Hey, are you a YouTuber? No, I'm a content creator. I'm creating content on the YouTube. That's what don't call me a YouTuber. I'm a content creator. That is your urban word of the day.
Thank you for saying that in dated urban slang so that I'll understand you. That there was the urban word of the day. We damn stretched your cranium.
And speaking of content.
What grade are you going to?
First grade.
No, you're not.
Grade.
No, you're not.
Kindergarten.
Thank you. Ryan's going to kindergarten soon, so he needs a new backpack.
Welcome to Ryan's Family Review.
So which one's better? The chocolate donut or the real donut? Chocolate?
Thank you for watching our real versus chocolate video. Bye.
That's Ryan. He's 6 or 7. I'm not quite sure. He's got Ryan's Toys Review. He made $11 million last year, and now he's getting his own brand of stuff at Walmart. It's amazing. It is. He doesn't have millions of views. He has billions of views. He truly is, and I'm going to use our urban word of the day, a content creator. He's a kid that plays with toys and then gives you his honest review of stuff. And this is just one of those things where you're like, God, why didn't I think of that? He thought of it. And $11 million is what he made last year. They plan to make more this year. I have a feeling the kid's going to play his future right, and I think he's going to be all right. But think about this if you're in kindergarten, right? You sent your kid. It's like, hey, Mom and Dad, like, Ryan's in my class. That kid, yeah. And how much money did you make last year? You didn't make a dime, but you cost me money. Ryan made $11 million. Think about that tonight when you're in your room without dessert. Oh, 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Speaking of making money, people understand that when you've got money, people are smart. They know that I'm going to take this money and let it work for me. How do you do that? You invest it. What do? You invest wisely, but you diversify. Cryptocurrencies are the future of investing, and diversification is key. But first and foremost, smart people also go out and they figure out how it works. They learn about the product they're about to invest in, and that's what you need to do. Diversification is key. Learning and earning go hand in hand. Tiki Tuari, Palm Beach Letters, put together an amazing course for my listeners out there that teaches you the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs. It can teach you everything you need to know about how this marketplace works. It explains what cryptos are, how they work, which ones he recommends, and how to even buy them. I'm telling you, diversification. Everybody should have some cryptos in their accounts. How do you do it? You're going to learn how to do it. Where do you go to figure this out? Go to amazingcryptoclass.com. It's amazingcryptoclass.com. I'm telling you right now, you're going to learn so much, and you're going to be like, man, now that I've learned, I am ready to earn. Amazingcryptoclass.com. Check it out for yourself. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, ChadBenson. Abolish ICE. You hear that all the time. Last night, Tucker Carlson had a guy on that it was just... It just made you shake your head. This is why we can't have nice things. We're going to touch on that. Manafort as well. A lot of stuff to get to today. It is the Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Times we live in a world of insanity, as we all know, and there's this new progressive left that wants to do away with anything and everything they see to be as evil as can be. And last night, Tucker Carlson, right, had on Cameron Whitten. He's one of the organizers of an ICE protest in Oregon, and they left an immense amount of trash outside the ICE facility. But it's not so much the fact they want to abolish ICE. It's just... you don't even know, like, they don't even have a real rhyme or reason why they do it. They just don't want it done. You know, like, we don't like you, so we just want you to go away. We don't want you to exist anymore. We just think you're mean and you're evil, and let's just get rid of you altogether. And there is still rhyme or reason behind it. It's just like, my feeling is I don't like you.
How does that work? You mobilize, you've got a mass movement, right, of engaged people who want to make America better, but you leave beer bottles and hypodermic needles behind. Yeah. Is that really the kind of change most people want? I don't think so. No, Tucker, it's a serious question. Like, why didn't you clean up when you left?
Because can we talk about what's important right now about the interests of American people? Heap. So, Tucker, honestly, I feel like what you're doing is you're avoiding the conversation. I'm not avoiding. Why are we here?
They left all kinds of stuff behind. It was gross. And he's like, yeah, no big deal. Of course, yeah, no big deal. And look, if I was Tucker, I mean, I got this guy. Let's figure out why you want to get rid of all of this stuff. But why are you doing what you're doing? This is why we can't have nice things. This doesn't lead to a real conversation. And remember, these shows aren't about real conversations. They're about argument and theatrics. Find the person, walk into a crowd, look for the person that's the most insane person that you can bring onto your television so you can make your point, and they can look insane and look entertaining at the same time and interesting, and then we move on. It's not about real. Just remember that. But still, this guy did do something real. They do want to abolish ICE, and they made a giant mess.
But I'm an American. I was born here. I have a family. I don't want to live in a place that looks like Tegucigalpa. And I don't think anyone does, including immigrants. And I'm just saying, if you are setting a model for the rest of us, why the hell were you living like animals? That's a totally real question. What's the answer?
What we're dealing with right now is a crisis. And we cannot sit here and cast blame for certain individual actions. You cannot take certain individual actions and then dismiss why we are here.
Okay. By the way, Tegucigalpa, for those of you who don't know, that's city in Honduras. It's just like a lot of people are like, wait, what? Wait, like what is that? Where is that? That's Honduras capital city. Just letting you guys know exactly what that is. But the protesters made a mess, and again, this is a place that already has a huge issue. So I don't think they need a mess left up there in Oregon with hypodermic needles and all kinds of crap. I've never got that, right? Like I feel guilty at times when I go to the movie theater and some popcorn will spill, and I know that, like, they walk in and they go and they sweep everything. I feel guilty at times when that happens. And when you leave a mess, like this past weekend, I took all the little boys to see, we went and saw Ant-Man, which was hilarious, by the way. We had a great time. And we go and see it, and I made them pick up the trash before we left because, you know what? That's what you should do. Some people just feel like, hey, you know what? No. And I can tell you this right now. He'll tell you that global warming's real, this guy, and that littering's bad and all of this stuff. He probably made Iron Irish Cody cry with all this disgust that he left out there. But still, the thought process of people that want to get rid of ICE, to do all these kind of things, it just shows you how insane some people are out there, right? You've got the ultra conservative that I can't have a conversation with. You have the ultra progressives and progressives out there that are going so far left that you can't even see them anymore if you're standing in the center and the alt middle. It amazes me that this is going on in our country, but we can't have a conversation anymore because it's no longer about having real conversations on television. It's about the theatrics.
Let me talk to you in your terms.
You're telling me you're making America better, but you make it worse.
Let's say you have an annual family barbecue and your brother-in-law shows up drunk. Do you cancel the whole barbecue? No. So what we're talking about right now is that there was a protest where people weren't just camping outside. People across the country, four former first ladies, they were not camping in the streets. What we're talking about is the message of this movement.
Can't have a conversation when you're talking over one another. And look, could you blame the guy for everybody who shows up at something? No, you can't. But when there's another situation today in Sacramento, another one of these things, and they go and they're leaving garbage everywhere, they're doing it on purpose. It's ridiculous.
Okay,
I'm not going to agree with what everybody did. I'm not agree with what everybody did,
okay.
and I'm sure that you don't agree with every conservative and their actions and what they say.
Okay, but
what
you know what I don't agree with regardless
is the message of why we are here, and we cannot ignore the fact that Trump's policies are not beyond reproach. That we have to demand change, and we have to do drastic things, as Trump said.
You're making me give up. You're too obnoxious. I can't handle it.
You know what's funny is listening to that, it sounds like they each went in a room and they read some lines and then they just played them over one another. But there is a way that you go about interviewing to make things like that. You attack people and they attack you back, and you're looking for things like that. It's the theatrics of it. The reality is that there are a lot of people out there that are on the left who want to abolish ICE, who want to get rid of things like this because they deem it to be evil and bad and horrible and unfriendly and unwelcoming and blah, 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 blah. And you sit there and you laugh because you listen to that. No, what did you learn from any of that? Nothing. That they left a bunch of trash, that we didn't talk about anything real, that it's the theatrics of it all and the fighting over one another, and the whole process is the uncomfortableness of after walking away going, that was really gross and weird. And that's what you're talking about. You don't talk about anything they were talking about. You don't.
I don't think you did yourself or your cause any help at all. But maybe you did. Maybe there's someone watching think, that Cameron guy, the guy who left all the beer bottles and the hypodermic needles. I like him. I'm on his side now. Maybe there's someone like that. Call me if you exist.
Yeah. But you're not playing to that audience, so you don't have to worry about that. You're playing to a different audience. And you just sit there and you kind of laugh about the whole situation. That's why we can't have nice things. That's why we can't talk to one another. Right? We can't talk to one another because we don't want to shout at each other. So Paul Manafort is on trial. And this trial, by the way, as they say, is moving.
This case is already living up to the courthouse's reputation, too, by the way, of being called a rocket docket. In just one day, a jury was selected, opening statements were completed, and we even heard from the first witness.
Yeah. And people are asking me, what do you think of Manafort? What do you think about? And I'm going to throw it out there. I think he probably has done some stuff against the United States. Not that he conspired against them, but as far as he pissed off the tax man, and you don't do that. He's a foreign lobbyist. They make a ton of money. Not all of it's above board. Not all of it's claimed. Yeah. Now, it's funny because how many of you out there, because I hear, they're making a huge deal out of all of the stuff he's bought, which he's got a lavish lifestyle. I'll be honest with you. It's not as lavish as people are making it out to be. I watched, yesterday I watched David Feherty. I love David Feherty. Right? Great interviewer, former professional golfer, really funny, just a great interviewer that he has no idea what he's doing, but that's what makes him so great about it. And he interviewed Ian Poulter. Ian Poulter's a pro golfer, right? Pro golfer. He's got 100 cars. He's got several Ferraris, Bentleys, classic Porsches. He's got so many of these things. You would think that to me looks lavish. A $21,000 watch. They're like, how many watches do you have, Ian? He's like 50. Right? That's a $21,000 watch for a lot of people. It's not a big deal. It's not for some people out there listening. But if you own a Rolex, you probably paid $6,000-8,000 for that. Right? You got a presidential, you probably pay, who knows how much. It's not a lavish life. That's what they talk about. They're trying to paint him as this guy who is so opulent that he just does, that's part of what they're doing here. But the reality is he's in a world where he was hanging out with somebody who was the former president of Ukraine, pro-Putin, was one time worth $21 billion, went down to $3 billion, back up to probably $10 or $15 billion. Opulence, that's real. That's the kind. They're trying to paint him out to be these kind of things. And they paid him in money that they said, hey, not only can we pay you some money here, we could probably stash it over here in Cyprus and some other stuff, so you don't have to avoid all that. And part of this is an America problem. When I lived in Europe and I played sports in Europe and I was on radio in Europe, when I got paid, I not only had to pay my taxes there, I had to pay taxes in America. So imagine that. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, you get $100,000. They're taking like 50% in England, but then they want their money over here. So your $100,000 is down to $20,000. What? Yeah. So some people, a lot of wealthy people, you can go to Silicon Valley, and I guarantee you can find more than a few Cyprus bank accounts all over where they're shielding a lot of their assets. Alan Dershowitz said it best about this case when it comes to the crime, and I do think at some point in time they're going to find out he had a lot of money, and that there was some stuff that he was doing that probably was not above board. But Alan Dershowitz pointed out what his biggest crime is.
Paul Manafort. Well, it's very simple. His crime is being associated with Donald Trump. And don't listen to me on this. Listen to Judge Ellis, the judge who's presiding over the case. The judge ruled and said Mueller is not interested in Manafort. They're just trying to get him convicted so they can squeeze him. And if you squeeze a witness, not only does the witness sing, but sometimes, according to the judge, the witness composes. That is, he becomes creative. He makes up information.
And that's kind of what they're hoping for, I guess. That's not going to happen. But people ask me, do you think he's guilty? I think he's probably guilty of some of what they're going after him for. Not all of it. But I think that there's a potential he's guilty for a lot of it. Is creativeness? How much can they prove and not prove? How many of the documents they have from over there that they can prove that he had some money here and there and everywhere? There might be some of that. Not saying there's not. Foreign lobbyists, a lot of what happens over there, it happens that way. It's not just him, but it's others. Doesn't make it right. Makes you scratch your head at times. Is what it is. But the reality is, had he not been associated with Trump, they probably wouldn't have looked at him one bit because they didn't care. This was all about seeing if there was some there to get him. Trump, I mean. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Dollar Shave Club is amazing. My family uses it. I use it. You're going to use it. Why is that? $5, free shipping. Join today. Let me tell you something. They deliver everything you need that's going to help you look, smell, and feel your best. And it is incredible. Shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, hair gel. They've got it all for you. I use all of it. When you start to break it down and start using it, first of all, you're going to save a ton of money. Secondly, you don't have to go anywhere. So think about the top shelf ingredients, right? Not going to break your budget, coming to you directly. That, to me, is service with a smile. Here's what you're going to get. This is what you're going to do. You're going to join right now. It's $5, free shipping. This is what you get. Daily Essential Starter Set, Body Cleanser, One Wipe Charlie's, Dr. Carver Shave Butter, and the incredible 6-blade Executive razor. Those blades will keep coming for a few extra bucks a month. You're going to try something. I've been telling people to try the hair care products. Maybe you try some of their shower gel. Maybe you try some of their shampoo and conditioners. Throw it in there. You're going to be so surprised. You're going to go back and order a ton of stuff, and you're going to absolutely love it. Join today. DollarShaveClub.com/Chad. $5. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, $5. Free shipping. DollarShaveClub.com/Chad. DollarShaveClub.com/Chad. He is a scorned husband. And now he's getting paid. What? Where do you hear this? Chad Benson Show.
Hashtag me too. Hashtag immigration reforms. Hashtag help. I'm trapped in a hashtag factory and I can't get out. The Chad Benson Show.
A jilted husband hits the adultery jackpot. A Texas man, Keith King, caught his wife in bed with another man. And instead of focusing solely on his cheating wife, he sued the other man, and he won a nearly $9 million judgment.
$9 million. That's what the guy got. What? And he had got, first and foremost, it wasn't I maybe think my wife's cheating. This could be happening. He got it all on video. Boy, that's not something you play back for the kids.
King certainly had evidence to show the judge. Watch as he catches his estranged wife in bed with her lover, Francisco Huizar.
She's my wife, man. She's my wife. That is my wife, man. You're picking him over me. You're picking him over me now.
Yeah, she picked him over you. And it's weird. In a few states, there are, as some people say, archaic laws where you can sue somebody who essentially takes your other half.
King says he lost money because of the affair because his wife worked with him, and that's all Francisco's fault. And thanks to a law called alienation of affection, the judge said, okay.
Yeah. Now, to the tune of a lot. Now, how did they come up with a lot? That was like I'm sitting there trying, I think to myself, okay, so how do you come up with a number in your head? Because the reality is it's probably good riddance to bad rubbish that this happened. I don't know what their relationship like. She said, oh, he's horrible. But, of course, you got caught. You could have left if he was that bad. Oh, because of this, because of that. You know what? I don't know what the relationship is, but you got caught. So that's why, of course, he was a horrible human being. But I'm like, is there like an actual like thing where they take out a card and they start looking at numbers? How do they break this down?
Why did you ask for $9 million?
We asked for the full amount of his compensatory damages, and in North Carolina for punitive damages, which are damages meant to punish and deter that kind of conduct, you can ask for 3 times the compensatory damages. And that all added up to a little over $8.8 million.
That's a lot. Now, I don't know if he ever has a chance of actually getting this money. I don't know if he's got a ton of money, the guy he's going after, if he's going to give him some money. It's he's a businessman, Mr. King, and that's what his big thing is. He runs this big BMX like show that he takes, I guess, nationwide or whatever. And he said, hey, she worked for me, and because she worked for me, this hurt my business because you took her away, so that cost me money. And then they multiplied that. Some of the states that have this, so just in case you're listening to some of these states, if you're in Hawaii, Mississippi, New Mexico, South Dakota, Utah, as well as North Carolina, be careful, because if you do something wrong, you may literally pay the price. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. What do you think of the Trump and just winning? You think it's time he just focuses on winning and lets this thing play itself out rather than continuing to take to Twitter and everything else and going after the witch hunt? Is it getting to him? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
President Trump on Twitter calls on Attorney General Jeff Sessions to shut down the special counsel's Russia investigation. The president writes, quote, "This is a terrible situation, and Attorney General Jeff Sessions should stop this rigged witch hunt right now." Sessions recused himself from the Russia probe last year after facing scrutiny for his own contacts with Russian officials. The president's been very critical of Sessions, even saying he would have picked someone else to be Attorney General if he had known Sessions would do that.
Please, Jeff. Please. That's what some people are saying out there that he's saying. Stop this, Jeff. They're going to catch me. Other people are saying he's just frustrated, wants it over, think it's hanging over his presidency. And I look, for me, just win, do what you said you were going to do, and let this play itself out. Right? It's frustrating as it may be. The reality is, I haven't seen any there. When people come to me and say, oh, look at all these people that were indicted, but how many of them were indicted specifically because of Russia, right? How many of them were indicted for that? Just curious. Well, I mean, it's because guilt by association. No, I'm asking the question. How many of them were specifically indicted because of their ties with Russia and collusion in the case of Russia and Trump and them conspiring now, which is the big word they're using, the C word they're using, to change and alter this election? How many of them? Manafort's on trial for money laundering and tax evasion. He's not on trial for Russia. How many of them specifically within touching distance of the president are either indicted and or have plead out a guilty plea based on collusion with the Russians to alter the elections? I'm curious. You're lying to the feds because you said it was Tuesday and it was really Wednesday and leaving something out. They're coming after you. Remember, Martha Stewart didn't go to jail because of the insider trading. She went to jail because she lied to the feds. So how many of them are there that you could tie directly to the president with his knowledge and an order? Think about it. I think it's a fair question to ask. Well, what about Paul Manafort? Paul Manafort isn't on trial for that. He's on trial for other things like money laundering and tax evasion and things of that nature. Not the same thing. Things that happened pre-Trump ever hanging out with the dude. So, I'm curious. That's the question that needs to be asked. I get the president's frustration. He's got every right to be frustrated. And I also think we have every right to see this thing out. So you win. You know, from day one, long before they even, the whole Comey thing went south and he gave this computer and his notes to his professor friend who knew would leak it, and then all of a sudden a special counsel would be appointed. Long before all of that, I said Trump needs to make sure that he continues to win, because when you win, that whisper stays exactly that, a whisper. When you start to falter and you start to lose and you start to get the infighting and all of a sudden stuff starts to go a little bit south and it becomes a little bit wobbly, then whoa, that whisper becomes a roar. What? So you just win, right? You just win. Whatever's going to happen in the Mueller probe is going to happen. Both sides of the aisle are kind of getting over it. They want to see this thing come to some sort of conclusion. Is that going to happen tomorrow? Probably not. Is it going to happen in the next 6 months or so? I think the reality of this going through the early parts of the new year, maybe a little bit longer, is real. Do I foresee it being here next year? I don't think so. Because I think at some point in time, the Fisher cut bait is going to be out there. Even for the Democrats. I'm not talking about the people out on the streets who are Democrats. I'm talking to the people that are in D.C. are getting there. I'm talking to more and more Democrats who are at the point where it's like, I would just like to get this thing over with. Because they're sick and tired of answering it. They're sick and tired of hearing about it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Speaking of the Russian meddling, this is funny. Apparently, there's a new Yahoo Finance survey that was done about the Russian election meddling, and it was a GOP poll, apparently.
Quite a few Republicans are united on one topic, and that's Russia meddling in the 2016 election. A Yahoo Finance survey found that, get this, 11% of Republicans say it would be appropriate for Russia to intervene in the upcoming U.S. elections on behalf of Trump and Republicans. 29% said that it would not be appropriate, but on the other hand, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
It's not appropriate. It's not a big deal. Well, it's, part of that is because I think we already know that we're all in each other's business, right? Let me ask you guys a real question, right? Fair question. Do you think if Obama had a chance to play a huge part into ousting Vladimir Putin, do you think he would have? I'm curious. Do you think he would have? No, he would never do it. Well, maybe it's possible. Maybe. You don't think we helped people that were anti-Putin? Of course we did. But how much legs do these people have is the big question. I think we've given the Russians way too much credit for what took place. And the other question is if you think, and I've asked this since Jump Street when this thing, if you could have walked in a room at night and said, Hillary, here's the deal. You're going to win. We can guarantee that. But there could be some controversy about the method of which you've got some of the dirt and some of the things that could be traced back to. By the time you got to Hillary, let me ask you, she'd have said yes. Not saying it's right for either side. I'm just saying, come on now.
Combining these two answers here, that adds up to about 40% of the respondents who more or less think that it's okay. Is that surprising?
I don't know. Am I out of step here, or is this like amazing and startling? Yeah. People are basically saying, the Russians want to help one party. Sure, why not?
Yeah, even the fact that if you want you to dwell down here, it's just 6%. The fact that it's even over 1 or 2 or 3% to me
what is going on?
It's kind of like, what is going on in the minds of some of these voters?
I asked that question too, right? And this is the thing that goes on in people's minds anymore.
This is the world we live in right now. People really don't care what it takes as long as their guy wins. As long as my guy wins, I don't care how he wins. I don't care if he had to lie, cheat, steal, rob my mother. It's fine because he's my guy. I mean, you look at some of these farmers. I read a story the other day that said some farmers are saying, well, you know what? I don't care if President Trump's tariff costs me money. I'll go down supporting the guy.
That's so true. That's so true. Some people feel that way. Some people don't care what it takes. They don't. The ends justify the mean. Does it? And I again think that we have given Russia way too much credit for what took place. We've given Russia all of this credit as if they have done something so incredible as to sway millions of voters in one direction or another based on a meme or some fake story in RT News or something like that. We have given them way too much. And by the way, it wasn't just all pro-Trump. There was pro-everything out there. It was more about trying to disrupt and divide than it was trying to change people's minds. It's more about getting us arguing than anything else. And they planted enough of the seed for people to argue. And they're sitting back going, wow, we didn't really have to do a lot. We just lit a lit. It is almost like a wildfire with the perfect conditions, right? One little spark and the fire caught on. Not that anything changed, but the fire rages amongst us. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. By the way, McDonald's is celebrating the Big Mac. It's the 50th year of the Big Mac. And I think tomorrow, if you go into McDonald's, you can get a McCoin. They're going to hand these out at participating McDonald's. And then on Friday, I guess you can then redeem your McCoin. How about that? You can check it out and get yourself a free Mac, a Big Mac with your Mac coin. Chad, would you eat a Big Mac? Is it free? Yes, I will eat it. And I've eaten Big Macs where I've even paid for it. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I know who I am. Had a nice salad today. I've walked 15,000 steps. I work out. And if I want to have a Big Mac and contribute to making America fatter again, I will do that, damn it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. AMAC, they're my partners. I love what they do. If you're over 50, I've got a deal for you. It doesn't cost you a penny to join. What? Not a penny. Are you ready for this? So here's the thing with AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens. All right? AMAC, absolutely cool. They advocate on your behalf for many of the beliefs that we share right here and we talk about all the time. Beliefs here that I think, things like common sense, immigration reform, Social Security reform, things of that nature, they advocate on your behalf for that. But on top of that, they give you amazing benefits like 40% off movie tickets, access to all kinds of travel discounts, hotel booking and rental car discounts, everything like that. Plus 40% off theme parks such as SeaWorld, Legoland, Six Flags, Disneyland, Disney World, just to name a few. All you have to do to join is be 50 years or older. That's it. No more. 50 years or older. And it doesn't cost you a penny. Add that up. 0 plus 0 equals 0. No cost, no tricks, no credit card required. Just a free membership. That's what you get. Go to amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad. You can call them on the phone as well, old style. 888-355-1668. That's 888-355-1668 or online at amac.us/Chad. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. Something turns 38 and will make you feel a little bit old. We'll touch on that straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
Are you PC and groupthink brainwashed? Time for a double detox shot of Chad.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
Video killed the radio star. How about that? The Buggles right there. First video played 38 years ago today on this fledgling itty-bitty network called MTV that was going to be out of business in the matter of hours. Somehow, they were able to fight off failure and continue to move on, and they continued to move on. And years later, they are an icon in this country. Some people out there like, but the fact is, even people out there who are conservative, when we first started watching MTV, I'm not conservative, pretty much an independent character as you can find out there. When I first started watching, it had nothing to do with politics and all to do with my MTV, my music, television. I loved the hell out of it. I did. I couldn't wait. They had Saturday night concerts. How awesome was that? Think about this, too. How many times did you go, oh, man, you'd see a video, like a world premiere, and you'd run to school the next day. You'd like, did you guys see it? Did you guys see it? And videos made people famous. And they made bands global icons. Duran Duran, their videos were insane. They didn't even know what 90% of their videos were about. I love watching them talk about Hungry Like the Wolf. And they were asking them. And they got, because this is where a lot of fledgling film directors had a chance, and even to this day, have a chance to go out and to make a video that is going to be seen by a lot of people. And so Duran Duran would talk about the fact that, when we started putting albums together, we were thinking about, okay, is this going to look great for a video? And they would shoot these videos and say, does it look, people, I don't know if it looks, we don't even know what it's supposed to look like, right? And these people's videos were at that time, were as more important, if not more, as the song. And that's what was crazy about it. That's what was amazing about it. And it was huge, And then we got global icons like Duran Duran and like Madonna and so many more. We got VJs. We had Martha Quinn and Nina Blackwood and all of these people. I loved it as a kid. And when you think about the fact, it makes you feel old. But there is nostalgia. Even now, I'll be flipping around, hanging out on a Saturday night, relaxing, or, waking up in the morning, waiting for the soccer game to come on, and I'm like, oh, man, I want my 80s. They'll have on MTV that retro thing, and you turn it on, and you get stuck watching all of these great videos, and next thing you know, you're watching, oh, my God, I remember Naked Eyes, and I remember Men Without Hats, and I remember Modern English, and I remember all this stuff. And it was great to watch. And you look back how cheesy it was. And you're like, wow. But we loved it. And it's 38 years ago today that it debuted for the world. How crazy is that? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. If you hear the cracking of helmets, no, you're not hearing anything. The NFL is in full swing. Everybody's reported to camp. It is game on. What does gambling have in store now for the NFL and vice versa? John Rothschild is going to join us straight ahead. We're going to talk about gambling and the NFL and sports. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
John Norris. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
NBA and MGM have forged an official partnership where the gaming company can actually use the league's names and the logos and the data.
The NBA and gambling already have a big relationship because, according to our Darren Ravel, there was $1.5 billion in bets placed on NBA games last year. That is a crazy number. The NBA has always been a little bit more open to the idea of gambling, and certainly in recent years under Adam Silver.
John Rothschild joins us. He is a gambling expert. The guy knows what's going on, and I appreciate you coming on today. NFL season is right around the corner, but I want to get your take real quickly on yesterday, the NBA, the partnership with MGM, because now gambling is going to become pretty much to every town near you potentially, and into some arenas maybe and things like that. What did you make of yesterday, the NBA and the NBA and MGM joining forces?
Well, we know that Adam Silver was always a big proponent of legalizing gambling in the states. What a lot of people don't know is maybe $1.5 billion was wagered on the NBA last year, but $9 billion was wagered on March Madness. The NBA only does about $10 billion in revenue during the year. So it's something that really had to happen. I didn't think it would happen this quickly, but MGM has expanded so much. They own probably half the casinos in the country right now that are not tribal related. So it's just going to get bigger and proliferate.
It is going to get bigger, John. And as we talk about gambling, obviously with what took place in New Jersey now and states are saying, all right, well, we're going to have to open this thing up. The NFL, this is we're going to get a first chance to see how this may mesh together. Where do they stand? Because, they've got that weird kind of, like the NBA has always been forward thinking, and usually the NFL leads in the forward thinking. But where are they right now when it comes to the gambling side of things and their relationship with it?
Well, first of all, there's no way Roger Goodell would have been paid over the life of his contract over $220 million or $200 million if people weren't wagering on NFL games. Most of the revenue really is in the form of advertising. Now, right now, as strange as it may seem, because everybody sort of wants to get legalized gambling, outside of some states that were grandfathered in Delaware, New Jersey, they're the only states that actually can accept a wager right now. Now, in the on-deck circle is New York, definitely West Virginia, definitely Mississippi and Rhode Island, and then Pennsylvania sort of on the periphery there. The NFL is going to embrace it.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, I absolutely think at some point, I think you have to, right? And like you said, the revenue side of it and the side that we don't see that it brings the league is massive. And they kind of always flirted with it, and they've embraced all of these other, fantasy sports things in weird ways. Even some owners have invested into it. So at some point in time, you think they're going to really have to embrace it. And I think they will. Talking to John Rothschild as we talk about gambling and the NFL. Let's get to the NFL. well, because before we came on the air, producer Phil and I we're getting our odds on the teams we may take a little run at here. The season's getting ready to start. The excitement is out there. Everybody's excited, but it's also when people are overly excited and they throw money out there for no reason on teams like, the Cleveland, Browns or something like that. What do you see happening this year?
2 games this year. Well, I'm sure you know what the opening lines are. The Patriots, like every other year, are the favorites at 6-1. Vegas, and I still say Vegas because they are still the line setters right now, has 4 teams at 10-1. And I think one of the questions a lot of people ask, if the Eagles look so good last year, why are they 10-1? And there's a lot of reasons for that. One in particular is that since 2005, no team has ever repeated winning the Super Bowl. I actually think the Eagles have a pretty good chance. And listeners might get a kick out of this. I'm from Philadelphia. I'd like to be a bigger Eagles fan, but I learned from one of my mentors years ago, who was an NBA referee and a journalism professor. They're not two incongruous ways to make a living. He said, John, if you're really going to be impartial and objective, you can't really be a fan of your hometown team. And I said, Chuck, it's just not going to happen that way. But as I got more and more into the business, it has. And, I try to look at all of these things objectively and not subjectively.
Yeah. You know what? I'm a huge Patriot fan, and last year I chose the Eagles over the Patriots because when it comes to money, if you allow emotion to get involved, as you know, that's usually when things go south.
How many times you heard somebody say, I have a feeling? I cringe every time I hear that. If you're going to bet on a feeling, just watch the game. But, one thing about the Super Bowl last year, I'm sure a lot of people noticed it was very different than pretty much any game we've seen in a few years. It was one of the cleanest games we've ever seen. There were hardly any penalties. There was 1 quarterback sack. There were 0 blitzes. There was 1 fumble, which was by Tom Brady, and 1 interception by Nick Foles, which probably you could argue wasn't even his fault. My thought is what's going to happen this year is the refs are going to try to call the games in a similar fashion. They don't want to lose any more viewership. They want less things questioned, and they want a little more action all the time.
You talk about the viewership, and gambling is a way that, a lot of people, fantasy sports came in, and at first it was baseball, then it really hit with football, where you saw the excitement, where people would continue to watch games even if they had no skin in the game. It wasn't a hometown team, wasn't a playoff game or anything like that, because they had players. How much is gambling going to play an importance in maybe driving some viewership back, because the fact is that it did suffer a little bit last year for whatever reason? It could be the on-field product, people weren't excited about, and people are still debating the concussion side of stuff and whether or not they feel comfortable watching this on top of the anthem thing. How much do you think that gambling and the opportunity to gamble on some of these things now may bring back some of these viewers?
A lot. I mean, you're going to hopefully have apps on your phone where you can bet on each play. You're going to hopefully bring in the younger crowd who's looking for instant gratification, who is just used to either watching the red zone or their video games. I'm trying to think of a nice way to put it. You're going to get more women involved. We're out of the closet now. We're mainstream. We're not a gray area. It's pretty much legal to watch a football game, bet on a football game, and you're going to hear the announcers now talking about the lines during the football games. And there's going to be a lot more emotion involved. I mean, you're going to be watching an instant replay. You might have money on one play. It's going to be like watching a photo finish in a horse race.
Yeah. That's going to be crazy. So how does that work? So how do you bet on the play? I mean, what are some of the things? Because, we talk about it when March Madness comes around. People start talking about it when, you've got the Super Bowl, the prop bets and stuff like that. How's this going to break down? You're talking about single plays. You're talking about quarters. You're talking about all kinds of things.
We're going back to human nature and, things, what Homo sapiens did, 20 and 25,000 years ago. A lot will bet on anything. So you'll be able to bet if the next play is a pass or a run. If it's a run, how far will it be? If it's a pass, how far will it be? You'll have longer odds. Will there be an interception or a fumble? The big difference for these plays and why everybody needs to be really, really careful is that because they're set up so quickly by the bookmakers, the odds are going to be in their favor. So when they normally take either 5% total in a game or 10% of the loss, they might charge you 30% or 35% on some of these wagers. So unless you're really, really sure, I advise most people enjoy the game, stay away from all of the spontaneous inter-game bets, and focus on what you really know.
Talking to John Rothschild, we talk about the NFL, gambling, and the NBA, and all of that stuff. So the excitement that some people thought, maybe not this year, but it's coming, is the opportunity like they do in Europe. I mean, I played soccer in Europe. I was over there. You can bet inside of the stadiums, which got a lot of people excited. How close are we to that? Maybe the NBA may be a little bit closer than the NFL and Major League Baseball, but at some point in time, this is probably going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's a little different than people thought. It's almost I've just written some articles for Sports Illustrated and Bloomberg News. It's really like the Wild West out there. I mean, for a lot of people, they think it's going to be like the gold rush. It's not. The leagues are going to make money off of what happened with MGM yesterday and endorsements, and they're going to make money with advertising. The amount that they make from a percentage of the wagering, which might be 1% from just a percent of wagering, or maybe they'll put in integrity fees, is going to be very small. So, for example, if New Jersey thinks they're going to take in $200 million this year, the league might get $2 million. Well, that's not even what an average NFL salary is, and it's 40% of what 1/32nd NFL commercial costs. So the real money driven there is going to be the advertising revenue.
Yeah, and that's I find that side of it I find to be interesting, and the other side is it's the whole integrity thing. They want an integrity fee, and everybody all the leagues are reaching for, hey, you're gonna have to pay us some sort of integrity fee. How does that work in this? Because the reality of this isn't a college kid who gets himself in a little trouble and they ask him to throw his money. These guys have big money. They're making big money. Is the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, are they worried about any of this stuff?
They're going to try to get their 1% for an integrity fee. But listen, the contracts are so benevolent now. I don't know why any college athlete would want to risk a pro contract, and why any pro athlete would want to risk losing their income. So I don't think we're going to see integrity fees. I don't think we have to worry about too much. Look, Las Vegas doesn't charge an integrity fee. They charge a couple European countries do, but that's only because they can.
Yeah. Only because they can. John Rothschild joined us, a betting expert to say the least, author, critically acclaimed book, Football Betting Made Easy. All right, let's break it down here real quick. I got about a minute here. I'm interested in the Patriots are the favorites. If you were a betting man, John, and I'm not saying you are, you've ever been around a casino or anything, where's the smart money going compared to the what the average guy does, which is throw money at stuff they should?
Funny. I live kind of close to a casino. I've never been there. I only give advice and wager on what I know, which is horses, because I own them, and football. Otherwise, you're just going to lose your money. But there's a couple great. I actually do like the Eagles. I do not like the Patriots this year. I do like the Vikings. But one of the most important things you need to worry about are injuries. They can take away everything. And I worked out a little stat the other day, and of the top 10 teams that had the least injuries last year, 9 of them had winning records.
Yeah. Injuries are vitally important.
There's a lot of luck that's involved. If your listeners would like, a little advice for early in the season, which for me, besides the very end of the season, not the 16th week, but the very end of the season, is the easiest time to handicap. You've got to go against what the general public thinks is going to happen. And there's a lot of teams that finished the year very strongly last year. They're all going to be overbet. The Vikings, the Eagles, the Packers will be overbet because Aaron Rodgers are coming back. Or they'll overbet teams because a key player like Deshaun Watson is coming back for the Texans. Their teams, and again, it's too early right now, but their teams maybe you sort of want to go against the first week of the season.
Yeah. Absolutely. Look, I understand. Wherever the money's going from the average public, I go far away from it because I always know the house is usually right, and they're right for a reason because they kind of are a little bit more in the know than the guy down the street. John Rothschild, appreciate you coming on. Look forward to having you come on again. This was fun.
Great. And real quickly, just a little plug. My book is Football Betting Made Easy, and it's now a bestseller. So if anybody wants to sort of help themselves out this year, you'll probably be able to win a couple more games if you buy the book and read it.
There you go. A different kind of investment, if you will. Appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, ChadBenson. I have a buddy, actually, who that's what he does for a living. He bets. He bets for a living, and he's done quite well, and he grinds it out, and he doesn't play poker. He plays this, and he looks at his investment kind of thing, and he does it quite well with it. It's a weird way to live your life, and you've got to be, the big thing is, for most people, they can't do it because emotion's attached. And when emotion gets attached, everything else goes out the window. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You call it ridiculous. We call it reality. With a twist. Say what?
With a twist. Say what? Imagine this. You're a 76-year-old man in New Jersey. You're sitting there and you're hanging out and you're reading an article about Mickey Mantle baseball card that sells for $3.5 million, and you think it's an error. You're like, it's not real. Nobody's buying a baseball card for that. The New York Times has lost their mind. Tomorrow they'll say there was a misprint and they'll move on. But then suddenly you realize, no, it's absolutely true. And you say to your brother, Ed, hey, we got 5 Mickey Mantles upstairs. And lo and behold, in the attic, they had 5 Mickey Mantles upstairs. Now, not all of them are in mint condition, but one of them is a PS 8.5. Mint is a 9. Theirs is at 8.5 and will fetch well over $1 million. They've got several other ones ranging from 7.5 to 5. They'll think they'll probably make who knows how much, a couple, $300,000-$400,000 on top of everything. But the reality is they have a bunch of them up there, and they have some other stuff as well, and they're releasing them slowly but surely. That's your lottery upstairs. And apparently somebody found out that they had one and made him an offer several years ago. They said, I'll give you like $10,000 for that cash, sight unseen. And he goes, I didn't need to sell it at the time. And he didn't. And you're like, say, what? Now that is nice to know that your retirement plan includes a Mickey Mantle baseball card. And Mickey Mantle, for those of you who don't know, is one of the holy grails of baseball. Say what? Sweden had a bunch of jewels stolen. Yesterday we talked about a guy who stole a shark. Makes you scratch your head. These guys stole Swedish Royal Crown jewels that included 2 crowns and an orb. What the value is, which is significant, people really don't know, but the cultural significance is what the Swedish people are worried about. They don't quite know where these guys off. They made off in a speedboat, but the biggest thing is who's going to buy the stuff? Because if you've got something like that, you got to figure out how you get rid of it. Hey, ZipRecruiter is absolutely amazing. If you're looking to find the perfect hire, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Benz and sign up for free today. They're amazing. 100 of the jobs, leading web boards. That's where your job's going to go. Their smart matching technology is going to find that perfect candidate, and then away you go. In fact, 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. They're going to highlight who that person is. You're going to go, this person's amazing. That's why I use ZipRecruiter. It's ZipRecruiter, by the way, highest rated hiring site in America. Boom. Right now, try it for free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/Benson. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Benson. ZipRecruiter.com/BENSON. ZipRecruiter is the smartest way to hire. You will not be disappointed. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. If you want to reach the show via text, 323-538-2423. 323-538-2423. It is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. independent in thought, and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
President Trump on Twitter calls on Attorney General Jeff Sessions to shut down the special counsel's Russia investigation. The president writes, quote, "This is a terrible situation, and Attorney General Jeff Sessions should stop this rigged witch hunt right now." Sessions recused himself from the Russia probe last year after facing scrutiny for his own contacts with Russian officials. The president's been very critical of Sessions, even saying he would have picked someone else to be Attorney General if he had known Sessions would do that.
So, look, Sarah Huckabee Sanders came out and she's talking about, this entire, thing and what he tweeted, and she's got to defend this, that, and the other, and it's based on the dossier and all of this kind of stuff. And look, the president, I get his frustration. I do. I'm not going to pretend that if any one of us as human beings were in the situation that the president is in, right or left, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, and for whatever reason, you were linked with something that was hanging over your presidency, you would feel the same way he does. Now, you may not vocalize it, right? But you would feel the same way he does. Even seasoned people, Hillary Clinton's a perfect example. Even seasoned politicians, when it came to Benghazi and all of that stuff, the frustration was there. You could see it. Now, some people vocalize things in a different way, right? And he does. Says witch hunt. It's an absolute witch hunt. The only reason that they're looking into this thing is this Steele dossier and all of this kind of, that may be true. The fact is, I hope that's true if I'm the president. Right? Somebody's got to get a hold of him and say, dude, it's great. Call him dude, too. He'll probably love that. Dude, broham, chill. Mr. President, listen, let that be it. If that's the thing that they're hanging all of this on to start this whole witch hunt, as you call it, let it be. Even the FBI, even his own handlers, if you will, have discredited this guy on numerous occasions. They've gone out and said, hey, should we look into this thing? And you're like, I wouldn't trust this guy. I mean, we could shoot so many holes. It's coming to us as Swiss cheese. We can shoot even more holes through it. It'll never hold this. It won't even get past the sniff test. It won't hold water. We're good. But the more that you come out and address stuff like this, the more that people think it's getting under your nerves. And it is. It's getting under your skin, right? That's it. Let it go. Let it go. When you were a kid, and you knew you could mess with your baby sister or brother, or your older brother or sister, whoever it was, and you knew what their go-to was, and then eventually you'd get under their skin and they would react because that's what you wanted, you were going to continue to do it. If you did it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and they didn't react, you'd eventually do what? You'd get bored and you'd go do something else. I'm not saying that they're not going to go anywhere, but I'm saying that the more that you push back on this, the more that you come out and you tell Jeff Sessions in a tweet, stop this witch hunt, stop this probe, the more that you do that, the more that people out there push them to do stuff like that. The more that people out there, especially in the media, continue to try to get under your skin. So what you do is you just go out there, and I've said from day one, win, 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 win. The more you win, the less that you can hear that noise. All right? The more that you can win, the less that these things become an issue, especially with the American people. And that is what you're going for. The Mueller investigation is going to continue to go on, and I think it should come to its conclusion, its natural conclusion, whatever and whenever that may be. Do I think it's going to go on through its entire presidency, whether that's another 2 years or another, 6 combined? I do not think so. Do I think we may get through the first of the year while this thing is still going on? There is a possibility of that. Remember, the Watergate investigation wasn't 3 months, 6. At the same time, yes, at some point in time, it's put up or shut up. And I think even the Democrats are starting to say, well, what do you have? Right? Ancillary characters aside, what do you have? And some Democrats are starting to echo that. But in the end, winning cures all ills. right? Watch sports. Fractured locker rooms, teams losing, that fracture in the locker room becomes massive. Problems are huge. Infighting, guys, quibbing, I need the ball more, I need this, that, and the other. But winning, those things are quiet. They're just a side note. They're not the headline, front page story-making thing. But when things struggle, when you're not winning, that noise grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. Right now, as you've said, you're winning.
And I didn't know anybody in Washington, but now I know everybody in Washington. I know the good ones, I know the bad ones. I know the wonderful people, and I know the scum. And America now is winning again, like they haven't won before.
And if you keep winning, that's fine. That noise will remain more of a whisper than a roar. But when you start to lose and the frustration starts to grow and the fracture becomes a small crack, becomes a Grand Canyon, if you will, all of a sudden that whisper becomes a roar, things change. So keep winning. And I've said that from day one. Trump's best bet is to keep winning. Keep the economy strong. Keep people feeling like they're moving forward in their life and not going backwards. Keep people smiling because they've got peace of mind, and let the drama play itself out the way it will. Do I think at some point in time both sides are going to get fed up with the probe, especially if it's not producing no matter what side you're on, whatever it is that you're looking for? I think at some point in time it will. And I think it is. The Republicans are frustrated with it because they think it's a witch hunt. I think some Democrats are feeling like, well, we've been going on and on and on, and we may go on a little bit further, but what do you have? Yeah, you've got some people who've pled guilty on things that have absolutely nothing to do with Russia collusion, and the Manafort thing has to do with, and by the way, for those of you keeping score, I do think Manafort's probably hid some money and done some things that he probably shouldn't done in the shady world of foreign lobbying. I'm not going to be, my shock face is this, not very shocked. But did it have anything to do with Trump, Russia, collusion, any of that stuff? And if your best bet is now it's a conspiracy to commit something, or now it's, he tweeted something and maybe we can get him for, his tweets and obstruction of justice. If that's the reach you're going for, you're really reaching. Even the American public who may not be a fan of Trump are going, oh, wait a minute here. That's stupid. That's stupid. It is. The reality is, let it play out. Keep winning, keep winning, keep winning, and keep that potential roar a whisper, and you'll be fine. But the more that you allow it to bug you, the more it gets under your skin, the more that you say stuff like this, the more that people are going to want to try to get under your skin. See, he's hiding something. He's hiding something. Did you see that there, guys? He's hiding something. Right there, he's hiding something. He's got something going on over there. He's hiding something. What is it that he's hiding? He must know something. He must know. Collusion's not a crime. Look, he's hiding something, kids. He's hiding something. What is he hiding? Wonder what he's got. Got to be something bad. But if you ignore it and you just get on and you keep winning, people will get bored and go away. But the more that you continue to do this, the more that people are going to sit around on talking head shows all day long. And they're going to talk about, well, he's terrified of something. Obviously, he's begging him to shut it down. He's literally begging him. Shut it down, Jeff. Jeff, shut it down. That's what they're hearing. You may just be like, this is frustrating. It's a gnat. Nothing here. I know I didn't do anything wrong. Just make it go away. But they're hearing, oh, please, Jeff, they're going to catch me. That's what they're hearing. But if you ignore it, and when they say, what do you think about this? You say 4.2% growth, GDP, record low in unemployment, almost full employment. Think about that. What? Yeah. An economy that is moving forward, right? The more that you hit that, show them you're winning. Because when you show this hand here, people are going to say, well, that's curious. Why would you do something like that? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Hope you're doing well on this beautiful day. Kids, investing is mightily important. You should do it. Everybody, no matter what your age, you should be investing. And diversification is key. As you're younger, you can diversify it many different ways, take more risk. When you're older, you take a little bit less risk, but you shouldn't be risk adverse completely, right? You shouldn't be to the point where you're like, I don't want to diversify. I only want to buy this, that, and the other. No. You should be able to look at stuff, educate yourself, and make smart decisions. Cryptocurrency is the future of where investing is going. Why not be a part of it? The opportunities are massive. And now is your chance to learn like you've never learned anything before when it comes to investing and have the potential to earn. Tiki Tuarif and the Palm Beach Letters put together an amazing course for my listeners. All you have to do is go to amazingcryptoclass.com and check it out for yourself. He's going to teach you all kinds of stuff. This is like a Wall Street guy, hedge fund guy. He's arguably made more money for people in cryptocurrency than anybody else, and he's ready to help you. Now, how does he do it? Well, he's got a course that's going to show you everything. How do you profit from crypto? What are cryptos? How do they work? Which ones he recommends to buy? How to even buy them and use them? He will show you how to do it. Are you ready for it? Why not learn with the potential to earn? But that'll be up to you. Find out how it all works. Go to amazingcryptoclass.com. That's amazingcryptoclass.com. You won't be disappointed. Amazingcryptoclass.com. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. CHADBENSON. You can also tweet at us. You can text the program 323-538-2423. So 3D guns, the printing, all of us, we're ready. They were going to release everything today. A judge says, hold on a minute. Where are we going to go from here? It's the Chad Benson Show.
Feel free to punk this punk rocker any time of the day or night. Reach Chad on Twitter at Chad Benson Show and on Instagram at Chad Benson Show. And oh yeah, the Chad Benson Show on Facebook too. Punk that.
Video killed the radio star. The Buggles. Can you believe it was 38 years ago today that MTV signed on and changed so many things? It's not what it used to be. Obviously, I don't even know how many videos they play anymore. Do people really even make many videos anymore? But they gave us VJs and they gave us all kinds of things. And it was really an amazing thing when you watch and the relevance, the cultural relevance at MTV. It gave us so many things, and it made people in its day. If you think about the importance of MTV for the way that we look at it, it was really ahead of its time in so many ways because the video became so important. There were people who became stars not because their music was great, it was okay, but because their videos were amazing. And bands that were really good became massive. Duran Duran comes to mind. Duran Duran's videos, people were waiting for their videos to come out. What was that? And they were going to, hey, tomorrow night we're debuting Duran Duran's video. MTV made something, Madonna, MTV, massive. Huge. And the relevance along the way with what it's done, I think it can't be understated. It really, the cultural relevance. Now, it's gone totally all about things that, I don't pay much attention to anymore. I don't watch the Road Rules. But one of the things it did give us, what was that thing when they stuck everybody in the house? I always forget that.
The Real World?
The Real World, which I found to be a very interesting thing at a time. Kind of groundbreaking. They stuck a bunch of people from different walks of life who had different political views into to a place, and it was very interesting to watch. But MTV 38 years ago Take away all of the other stuff, whether you like it, it's left-leaning, progressive, yeah, all that stuff. Take away all of that stuff. As kids growing up, we love the videos, right? We absolutely love the videos. And even now on a Saturday night, I'll be sitting around, or a Sunday, I'll flip around. It's like, I want my 80s. I'll flip it on and I'll see Men Without Hats, or I'll see something, and I'll be stuck there watching some of those videos, thinking back to the time when I was young and the excitement of watching Modern English and all of these bands that, you know, nowadays, because of YouTube and everything else, we go right to it. And like, oh my God, we can see it every second. But back then we didn't have that. And MTV was that thing for us. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I'm going to touch on Paul Manafort for a second, who's under, you know, his trial's underway. And a lot of people are watching this. A lot of people, you know, they think this is the gotcha moment for Trump. The reality is Paul Manafort's not on trial for Trump. The only thing he's on trial for, as Dershowitz puts it, when it comes to Trump,
Paul Manafort. Well, it's very simple. His crime is being associated with Donald Trump. And don't listen to me on this. Listen to Judge Ellis, the judge who's presiding over the case. The judge ruled and said Mueller is not interested in Manafort. They're just trying to get him convicted so they can squeeze him. And if you squeeze a witness, not only does the witness sing, but sometimes, according to the judge, the witness composes. That is, he becomes creative. He makes up information.
Which is a possibility, right? And I think that if you're looking at life in prison and you have a get out of jail card free and you know you're guilty of your stuff, you'd probably sing. The reality is, even though he may be guilty of some stuff, and I think there's some probably stuff that he has done as far as funneling money to Cyprus, this, that, and the other, that he may be guilty of, he doesn't have the things that they want. So he's really of no use outside of the fact that they're going to go through with this trial. But yeah, the judge was right. This is another piece that they're looking to try to fit that puzzle to get Trump, and I think some of that is absolutely true. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Let's talk 3D guns straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
A few hours before a midnight deadline, a federal judge in Washington state granted a temporary restraining order blocking Defense Distributed, a Texas-based company, from posting blueprints on its website for how to make 3D printed guns. 8 state attorneys general sued to block the release, citing safety concerns, and the judge said, quote, there is a possibility of irreparable harm because of the way these guns can be made. He's scheduled a full hearing on the matter for August 10th.
Very interesting, the whole thought process of 3D guns. And I was speaking to several people last night who are Second Amendment advocates, right? You know, that some you would even say is part of a gun culture, if you will. They live for their guns. They're wary of this. They are. They're very wary of this because a lot of people don't understand this, but you know, they think that everybody out there who is all about more gun control and taking guns away and stuff of that nature, they think that every time something happens where somebody goes out and commits a heinous act against innocent people with a weapon, that somehow these people are happy about it, right? And they're not. They hate the fact that they've always got to defend the gun. And they always have to say, look, stop talking about the gun. Let's talk about the person who perpetrated the crime. Sometimes they're mentally ill. Sometimes they're evil. But the reality is the gun was a tool. It was a tool. It was not the reason the person did it. It was what the person used to commit it. And so when I was talking to a few of these people, I was surprised last night that they were like, I don't like this. I don't like this. As a person who supports the Second Amendment, I don't like this because to me, it screams that there are going to be too many people who are going to have an opportunity to do things in a way where things can't be traced, and people will buy these printers and they'll sell a bunch of these guns to people, knowing full well they can't get guns by other means, and they could get certain guns that they could probably go out and get, but it would be too easy to be traced back to them eventually. So, hey, why not get these and destroy them with really no chance to go out and to find out where this gun comes from? And I kind of agree with that. I do. And the more that 3D printings have become relevant, the prices of these things are going to come down, because right now they are expensive.
While these 3D printers are very expensive, they are becoming more broadly available, including in schools, and that's part of the cause for concern.
Yeah. And one of the other things that, they're expensive for the average person's probably not going to buy one. Oh, I just want to see what it's like, so I'm going to go print something up. But people that may want to deal in situations where let's just say that their dealings in life are a little bit below the table as opposed to above the table, if you will, they may go out and spend that kind of money knowing full well that they can print some of these things. And then what? But, here's the other thing, and this is something that I brought up yesterday, but I'll talk about. The fact is that these things have been out there forever. People have made homemade guns long before this. People have, you can always find a way around, and it's the internet. So these things have been out on the internet for a very, very long time. Now, the quality of the gun is a different thing. How good do they work?
The idea that they'd be flooding the streets, not so much. First of all, these are still 3D printers. They're expensive. Not everyone has one. Not everyone knows how to operate one. But the guns that they produce are also not of the same quality. Because they're made of plastic, even this reinforced, high-grade plastic, they can break apart. The energy of shooting them is sometimes too strong that you could get only a couple of shots out. From what I've heard from some experts, bullets don't fly as fast, and they're not nearly as accurate as well.
No, but if you were looking to commit a crime and dispose of it, that's interesting, right? If you were a hitman or you were committing whatever you were going to commit and you wanted to use it one time and then you were going to do away with it and destroy it to the point where there was, you just couldn't figure out where it was going to come from. That to me is interesting. And that's what a lot of people in law enforcement are worried about. They're worried about it. I've spoken to law enforcement on numerous occasions, and their big worry is how easy that people are going to be able to use these things and how hard it is for us to trace it.
These firearms are also untraceable. They will not have a serial number for law enforcement to reference. And in the case of purely plastic firearms, these firearms will be undetectable. They will pass through metal detectors without a blip, a buzz, or a bell that is going off.
Yeah. And that is something that is, people are worried about. Right? Now, everybody wants to say it's all Trump's fault. It's all Trump. Everything's always Trump's fault, right? It doesn't matter, right? If there's an eclipse, it's Trump's fault. If there's no eclipse, it's Trump's fault. Everything is, and they always want to lay everything at the feet of Trump. And I was like, you can do that in this. Now, maybe the settlement, is what a lot of people are talking about, the settlement with this company and allowing the blueprints going to come out there. The fact is these things have been out there for years, right? Again, it's the internet, right? Let's not forget that.
They're everywhere still. Not only because they've been published online for years now, but because this group, Defense Distributed, has been publishing them since last Friday. This whole idea of an August 1st deadline was entirely a marketing ploy. I think it actually encouraged some people to actually go ahead and download them before they were taken offline. So, in some sense, gun control activists, these Democratic lawmakers, are too late.
Yeah. A lot of people are too late. And like anything else, if you want it bad enough, you'll find it. Right? The internet is the World Wide Web. We may not have them online. Doesn't mean other countries don't have it online. We'll go over there and find it there. Right? It's the World Wide Web. If you're serious about doing it, there's also the dark web, which I'm sure has tons of these things long before that. Where there's a will, there's a way. But I do understand the worry about this. And I think I think it's not so much a big worry, but it's something that we should pay some attention to moving forward, especially as things like 3D printers become more accessible, become cheaper, because the things we need in life are becoming more expensive. The things we want are becoming less expensive. And that's one of the things I think we're going to become really cheap over the coming years. And how is that going to play out in this? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Somebody just tweeted at me and said, yeah, Manafort's not going to sing as he goes through his trials. It starts, and it's going to be a quick trial, by the way. It's going to be a very quick trial. I'll tell you why I think Manafort's not going to sing, because he doesn't know anything. I heard somebody today come out and say, if you were looking at life in prison, even if you had something good that they could use, you're still going to look at a long time in prison because of the charges he faces. And I'm like, are you stupid? Like, if I was sitting there next to that guy, I'd be like, Are you for real right now? So you think the charges Manafort is facing, if he had the golden ticket, if he goes, look, not only do I know where the bodies are buried, I buried him for that guy. I can give you everything you need to go out and to get him and to finish him off. They would be like, well, you were going to face life in prison, but now we'll make a deal with you. 20 years. He'd be like, kiss my ass. I'll wait for a pardon. But the reality is, if he had the golden ticket, which I don't think he has any ticket, e-ticket or otherwise, I think he'd look and say, not only do I want to walk away scot-free, everything you've charged me from you're going to get rid of, and oh, by the way, you're going to allow me to keep doing what I'm doing, and you're not going to pay any more attention to me. And they'd probably say, okay. People say, Chad, you're crazy. Sammy the Bull Gravano murdered people, killed them dead, committed arguably the worst crime you could commit. Not launder money to Cyprus and then take phony loans and then not pay them back BS. No. Which affected nobody whatsoever. He literally committed a crime against Uncle Sam and the tax man. Not to you or I. Didn't pose a threat to you or I. Sammy the Bull Gravano murdered umpteen amount of people. I don't know. Did he kill 18, 19 that he had confessed to? That they knew about? And they told him, what do you got on him? And he says, I'll tell you what I got on him, but this is what I want. I want immunity from prosecution of any of those things that I did. So going forward from here out, I'm scot-free on any of the stuff that they're back there. Nothing. I'm getting away with this stuff scot-free. I got away with it all. Sammy the Bull Gravano murdered people. He had the golden ticket. He walked. You mean to tell me that they wouldn't give him the walking ticket? Yeah, in a heartbeat. The reality is Manafort doesn't have anything on him because he doesn't know anything. Wasn't that close to it? Was only there a short period of time, and anything he might have done during that time was only to benefit Paul Manafort. Not the Trump campaign, but Paul. Paul likes money. Paul likes money for himself. Paul likes nice things. Foreign lobbying is the way he did it. Plenty more of those guys out there. Yeah. No. The crime, if there is one that he committed, was against Uncle Sam and the tax man. Was not against you or I. Did not pose a threat. I never went to bed at night going, please, God, don't let Paul Manafort come and get me. Right? Like the kids aren't, I'm going to tell you guys a scary story. There once was a guy named Paul Manafort. No! Sammy the Bull Gravano, he killed people. Murdered them. Dead. Different. Still walked free. The reality is if he really had a golden ticket and he was terrified of going to jail for the rest of his life, he'd sing. He doesn't have to sing because he doesn't know anything. And even if they told him, what do you got for us to sing? He'd be like, nothing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Hope you do. Love hearing from you. Car Shield is amazing. You got your car. You love your car. Had it a few years. Don't have payments anymore. But you also don't have that warranty. It's expired. And the thought is, what if? Engine will cost you thousands of dollars. A simple repair to a sensor costs you $1,000 or more. Fuel pump, all of these things are so expensive. And you worry about that, right? You love your car. You do all the things you can to take care of it, but you don't know what may happen. So what do? Where's your peace of mind? Car Shield is where your peace of mind is. Car Shield makes the process of fixing your car for a covered repair super easy. You can have your favorite mechanic or dealership do the work. It's your choice. You say, hey, I want them to take it there. They get them paid directly. That's fantastic. Nothing out of your pocket. No front them anything right there, kids. Secondly, 24/7 roadside assistance. But this is the thing I love. The little touch just makes everything great. Let's say they have your car for 4 days. You're like, God, I'm without a car for 4 days. No, you're not. How about a rental car for free from Car Shield? That's what they do for you. That's why they're amazing. Save yourself thousands in future car repairs. Do what I did. Get covered by the ultimate in extended vehicle protection. Call Car Shield today. 800-CAR-6100. Mention code Benson or visit carshield.com. Use code Benson to save 10%. That's 800-CAR-6100 or carshield.com. Code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. We got your useless fact of the day straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
A bird in the hand is worth 140 on Twitter, so tweet your beak off at Chad Benson Show Twitter. And if instant gratification is your thing, hit Chad up on Instagram at Chad Benson. Your bird will thank you.
It's not an order, it's the president's opinion, and it's ridiculous that all of the corruption and dishonesty that's gone on with the launching of the witch hunt, the president has watched this process play out, but he also wants to see it come to an end, as he stated many times, and we look forward to that happening.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders, earlier today, she held her usual barrage press conference and talking about the tweet this morning where Trump tweeted out that he's imploring old Jeff there, Sessions, to please stop the witch hunt. Jeff, please, I beg you, stop the witch hunt. That's the way some people hear it. You know, they stop this thing. It's still going on. And the Mueller investigation, I said it earlier and I'll continue to say it. I said it when Trump first got into office. Just keep winning. Keep the promises that you made to the American people. Do the things that you said you were going to do. Let all of that other stuff be noise around you. And if you do those things, right? Not all of those things, even if you do them, are going to be successful. Some of those things, while they sound good, maybe even look good on paper, may fall flat, but you keep doing those things, people are going to be like, well, you know what? But when you continue to allow things like the investigation to always get under your skin because you think it's undermining your presidency, people are going to continue to ask questions. So just keep winning, and I think you'll find out the more you win, the harder it is to hear that noise. Now, kids, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I don't know how much money you're making. All right, I make a pretty good living, but at, say, 6 or 7 or whatever, I don't know if I made this kind of living.
What grade are you going to?
First grade.
No, you're not.
Grade.
No, you're not.
Kindergarten.
Thank you. Ryan's going to kindergarten soon, so he needs a new backpack.
Welcome to Ryan's Family Review.
So which one's better, the chocolate donut or the real donut? Chocolate?
Thank you for watching our real versus chocolate video. Bye.
Oh, he is 6 years old. He gets billions of views on YouTube. Now, next month, guess what, kids? Walmart's going to be carrying Ryan's toys. Now, Ryan's toy review is huge. How big is it? Are you ready for this? Last year, producer Phil, hold your hat, ladies and gentlemen. Before taxes, he made $11 million.
I can't get 10 views on my videos.
Cannot get 10 views. All he does is review these things, and he made $11 million last year. He plans to make more than that this year. To say that he is... Now, eventually his cuteness may go away, But who knows what kind of star he could become from here on out. But he sounds, and his family sounds, because they put everything in the trust, sound like they know what's going on and they're doing it right. And because they're doing it right, I have a feeling this kid is set for life. So I hope you enjoy kindergarten, right? Because it's weird when you're going to be going to school and the teachers are looking at you as a dollar symbol more than they're looking at you as a kindergartner. Crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can always tweet us. Find us online, right? ChadBensonShow.com. You can find us there. Or go to Facebook, better yet, and like the page. All you got to do is like. That's simple. Like it. No fake news, just inane, weird stuff like this that makes your day go by. Here's your useless fact of the day. One that you should put in your brain and remember. Jeanette Rankin, she was the first female member of Congress in 1916. That was 4 years before women were allowed to vote. By the way, she voted no about going to war in 1917 and also was the only person to vote no about going to war in 1941. Remember when we were attacked and everything and the whole 9 yards with Japan? Yeah, she voted no on that. She was a pacifist. Just keep it there. Have a good day. Night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.